I worked with Oliver Stone on this film, and I had this scenario where I had Oliver Stone to my right shouting at me. I had the music supervisor behind me on this side shouting at Oliver Stone. And I was like, oh, I've got to get it done. So I was just like get it. Basically, to make it in that business, you need to be the quickest operator possible because that's all they care about. They just want to get it done. So that's why I can knock out tunes quickly.
Buenas tardes, ¿cómo están todos? Bienvenidos una vez más a Track ID México. Soy Pepe Camil y a mi lado está...
Hola, ¿qué tal? Mapiu, y encantado de estar en un episodio más de Track ID con todos ustedes.
Oye, Mapiu, pues hoy tenemos también una muy buena entrevista, la verdad, ¿eh?
La que se viene, chicos.
Exactamente, como ustedes han visto aquí en Track IDs, pues hemos entrevistado a mucha gente, hemos entrevistado a Steve Barry, hemos entrevistado a Anthony Papa, Norman, obviamente tuvimos el gran episodio de Dave Seaman y muchos sacaron a un artista en común.
Sí, no, y espérate porque lo que falta todavía que podemos ver de este invitado de lujo que traemos para el día de hoy.
So, welcome to the floor and welcome to Track IDs Mexico, Aubrey Fry. Whoa, what's up, man?
Hola. How you doing?
How are you, man? We are very happy. We're very happy to have you here on the show. I was talking to Mapiu some weeks ago. We were trying to get you because your sound and your music. It's a mixture of punch with floats, floaty music, really groovy and hypnotic. So it's something that we like, and all the big DJs are playing. So it means that you are really something to do right. So welcome to the show, and we're glad to have you here with us.
Well, thank you very much for having me.
Okay, so let's get into the meat and potatoes, man. So tell us, Aubrey, tell us a little bit how you started your career. When did you start? How did you start it? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so I when I was about 13, 14 years old, quite young actually, so a young teenager, about half a mile from my house, there was a big country mansion, and they used to put on huge acid house parties there in the early 90s, right the way up through to the sort of mid to late 90s. And it was literally half a mile from my house. So every weekend I'd just hear this thump, thump, thumping, chaos just like down the road, and I was like, it used to wake me up at night, and I'd be like, what is that? And eventually I thought I've got to go and have a look. So I got out of bed and walked down there, and just sort of saw this chaos unfolding, and that was my kind of first introduction to electronic music. There was a Emotion rave going on there, and they used to put on Emotion, Genesis, Fantasia, big rave parties at this mansion. So I went there, and obviously I didn't go in, but it really kind of it was a bit confusing to start with, but I was like, this is just interesting. And then I kind of, at the time on the radio, there were lots of kind of rave acts breaking through, the KLF, the Prodigy, Orbital, Left Field. Leftism is one of my favorite albums ever.
Okay.
All of those sort of classic albums were happening. The Orb as well, and then also some really kind of obscure stuff like Polygon Window, which was Aphex Twin before he was Aphex Twin. He had an amazing album out, and I just started sort of listening to that stuff mostly on the radio, and yeah, I just got really interested in it, and then on my 15th, round about my 15th year, at Christmas time, my mum, who bless her, realized that I was really, really into this music, went to our local city, Cardiff, and went into a record shop and asked them what CD to buy her son for Christmas. He was really into electronic music, and she gave me John Digweed's Renaissance 2 mix CD.
It's a great
And I opened the present on Christmas morning. I put it straight on the CD player. Weirdly, I put CD2 on first, and I sat there and listened to it from start to finish, first thing on Christmas morning, and it just blew my mind. And really, that album is one of the first, because I've been exposed to sort of rave music, which was, some of it was high end production, but mostly it was quite kind of rough and a bit dirtier and sort of not really produced. It's just produced with an Atari ST and a few synths, really. Nothing particularly high end production wise. But that CD from John Digweed really kind of opened my eyes to very, very high quality, what I would call pop quality production in electronic music, because the CD was the mix was a real journey from start to finish, but it also had extra sounds added to it. So John had obviously mixed it, but then post-production had, added whooshes, booms, he'd used, I think, a Lexicon 224 reverb in places. I could just hear this extra production put into the CD, and it blew my mind. So I was like, that really kind of set me on the kind of progressive house kind of journey. And then I think about a year later, went to Cardiff to see a friend of mine who was in college there, and we were just sat in his digs, just drinking and smoking and catching up, and I could hear again this like party going on just outside his windows down in the street somewhere, and I looked out of the window, and there was this nightclub called the Hippo Club, and the Hippo Club in Cardiff was legendary, and that night Sasha was playing. And I was like, we've got to go. So I went down, we got in, and I had the most amazing night. It just blew my mind. So really, John Digweed and Sasha both really equally actually really opened my eyes to the sort of more progressive house sound. And although, they were playing, it wasn't really called progressive house then, it was sort of more kind of tech trance, really. I mean, even Carl Cox was kind of playing that sound at the time. That really set me on that journey. And, I think a month later bought my first pair of decks. They weren't Technics. They were kind of belt drive, really rough, a really bad mixer. But I started buying loads of records, and I just got completely obsessed by it. And that's kind of where the real journey started. And I started playing and playing at free parties around Wales, and just was completely obsessed by it, really. I used to ring up a very good friend of mine, Jimpy, who was actually also playing at the Hippo Club when Sasha was playing. He played after Sasha. He was a resident DJ there. But I used to ring up Jimpy in Cardiff at the record shop he used to work at, and he'd literally put a record on for me, put the phone by the speaker, and I'd be listening to this track over the phone. I say, yeah, and then he'd come back about 5 minutes later, he'd say, what do you think of that one? Like, yeah, I'll put it in my bag, and he'd put it in a bag, and I'd go and pick them up the week later. So I just got completely obsessed with it, and totally kind of, every single penny I made in my Saturday job went sort of into music. So yeah, that was the very, very early Aubrey Fry years, and I went through school. Got into the party scene, and then decided that I really wanted to kind of learn how this music was made. So I enrolled on a course down in Sussex. It was actually in Worthing, but I lived in Brighton. As a place called Northbrook College. It had a fantastic music production course, really, really good facility with, the best equipment at the time. And I had a synthesis tutor, I had a sampling tutor. I was still using Akai and EMU samplers and outboard synthesizers, and we were onto computer audio had just come in. We used to use Pro Tools there, and also we used to use Cubase, and which I'd actually already had a bit of an insight into at my school, because we had an Atari ST and Cubase and a Roland JV 1080 synthesizer at my school, which is like just bizarre. I don't know why we had it, but I used to spend my lunch times going into the music department and trying to reproduce pop tracks with this synthesizer. And I kind of half made a few, but never completed anything. So this course that I enrolled in eventually really just opened my eyes to how it was all made. And I again immersed myself in it. And at the time, I was living in Brighton, and at the time it was the big beach boutique. Norman Cook was like huge. John Digweed had a
Bedrock night. Yes,
he had a Bedrock night at the Beach Club first Friday of every month, which I was there at religiously. I think I gave him like 2 CDs of me DJing at the end of the night a couple of times, but I never used to put my name or phone number on it. I used to just give him a CD. It's like really early days, but yeah, I learned my craft there really, and I was sort of surrounding myself with some amazing people. At the time, I was. I used to spend a lot of time with Phil Hartnell from Orbital, who lived in Brighton, and his production partner at the time, not his brother Paul, but they'd kind of split for a bit. But he was doing a separate project, and so I used to do a lot of work with them, and various other quite amazing people. I mean, Adam Freeland was around there at that time. He was just kicking off. The break scene was really exploding.
Yeah.
And I eventually got a residency DJing at a nightclub in Brighton called the Funky Buddha Lounge, and it was for a outfit called Stomper Funk, and they had a weekly Friday night promotion that they used to run at that club, and we'd play. We'd have like James Holden. It was quite eclectic actually. We'd have people like James Holden, even Derek Carter. Kind of the more houseier side of stuff. Amazing Ewan Pearson, amazing artists, really. DJing down at that club. So I was a resident there. I got a residency there for quite a few years, and had some amazing times with them, and travelled a fair bit with them as well. We did events all over the country, because they actually that brand kind of exploded a bit. It was kind of the the kind of start of electro house at that time, I suppose. That was the kind of era, early 2000s.
2005. 2004.
Yeah. Well, actually, it was pre that. It was they really were cutting edge. This outfit, they were right at the start of that electro house kind of time. It was amazing. So yeah, we had a lot of fun, and then I kind of decided I was partying far too much. I was very young. And I kind of felt like I was going to hurt myself if I carried on. So I decided to get a job and kind of search for a career a bit in audio.
Okay.
So I moved up to London and got a job in a post-production studio, working mostly on Warner Brothers films in a place called Delane Lee, which was a legendary studio in Soho. And we did every Warner Brothers film between about 2004 and 2007 when I left there.
Mm-hmm.
So loads of amazing films, a couple of Batman films. I did all the Harry Potter films.
Okay.
Loads of amazing productions that I worked on. I started as a runner and worked my way up, and I was doing music editing eventually.
Okay.
But that's kind of where I get a lot of my inspiration from, because I was kind of immersed in this quite large studio. I mean, those post-production studios for film are just huge. You are in a cinema, basically. You've got a Neve SSL, and it's huge 300 channel desk. It was just
For your studio.
absolutely the best equipment you can imagine. The only thing that really let those studios down was the speakers, because they always use tannoy speakers, which are okay, but they're not the best. And as someone from music, I would rather ATC or
Yes.
whatever, but they always used to use tannoy speakers because that's what all cinemas have. So yeah, but I got a really good insight into a different side of audio production, really, and a different approach. And at that time, I mean, I was thinking about this the other day. So someone asked me the other day, how do you work so quickly? Because I can knock out tunes like really quickly, to a pretty good standard. I feel like they're good. People say they're good.
I guess so too. Yeah.
but I'm very, very quick. I'm unbelievably quick. And people often are a bit kind of like, how do you do it? How do you do it so quick? They're a bit suspicious. How are you putting out so much music so quickly? Well, I'll tell you why. Because when I worked at Delane Lee, I had this scenario where I had Oliver Stone, who I was working with on a film. It was a really crap film. It was called Alexander the Great. Okay, It was a terrible film. For some reason, Alexander, they casted as an Irishman, which was just like, what?
It was Colin Farrell. No, what's that?
It was Colin Farrell. Yeah,
Colin Farrell. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what a stupid casting. But anyway, I worked with Oliver Stone on this film, and I had this scenario where I had Oliver Stone to my right shouting at me. I had the music supervisor behind me on this side shouting at Oliver Stone, and I was like, "Oh, I've got to get it done." So I was just like get it. Basically, to make it in that business, you need to be the quickest operator possible, because that's all they care about. They just want to get it done like yesterday. And like Oliver Stone shouting at me, the music supervisor, who's also a legend, shouting at Oliver Stone and kind of sticking up for me, and but getting it done really quickly, that really installed like this kind of like get it done, like I just that's how I work. That's how I was taught to work. So that's why I can knock out tunes quickly. So
You remember Oliver Stone? I don't know. It was
just, I mean, it's like proper PTSD I get from it. It was like, yeah, pretty scary. I mean, Oliver Stone's a scary guy. I mean, he's like, he's the guy signed up to go to Vietnam because he wanted to. He told me this. I said, look, why did you go to Vietnam? He was like, because I wanted to know what it's like to kill people. I was like, okay.
Have you finished mixing? Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
All right.
Yes,
It's like, Jesus Christ. He's I wouldn't say he's a nice guy, but he's a character. And I had quite an interesting time with him. And yeah, I mean, I respect him a lot. He's an amazing director. So he's made some incredible films. I mean, Platoon was just like one of the best films of that time. So yeah. I think that time with people like him and, working with some incredible mix engineers, really, really opened my eyes to how I can work. And where I'm most comfortable working quickly. It's kind of, it's sort of almost like it's kind of beaten into me.
That PTSD, yeah.
Ooh.
I like this. What's it, arpeggio? That's floaty, but
that arpeggio is a rolling bass.
I really like, and the bass line is monstrous. Yeah, I can say. Aubrey, tell us a little bit about the track.
So it's a track that Anthony Papa and I wrote together last summer. And he stayed with me for a week and we wrote this in 3 days. And it's a nod to our past, something that an era that we both kind of come from, really. And yeah, it's just got that driving bass and relentless rolling sound, and then a really kind of proper breakdown, and yeah, it ticks all the boxes for a peak time track. It's a track that you'd write home for.
No, it is a great track. And Life Exists is the name of the track, and you heard it here on Track ID. What does your at the time when you were young, what did your family think about, Mom, I'm gonna do a music career? Because I don't know what your Saturday job was, but well, Mom, I'm gonna do a career in music. So
yeah,
how was, because it's like you said, everybody says you gotta be a lawyer, you gotta be an engineer or whatever.
Yeah, I come from a long line of quite successful people. Like I've got a very weirdly interesting family, like very, very different.
Okay.
So my great grandfather invented the steam engine.
Oh, really?
And basically, yeah, he's called James Watt.
Come on, really?
Yeah, and he invented the steam engine and basically started the Industrial Revolution. So he's a really important guy. And he was like, yeah. I mean, that's like pretty impressive, really. And like, so like already, like I'm not going to do anything like that. It's like, but most of my family have gone on and done like, regular jobs, like they've gone into banking or whatever, been a insurance or whatever. And I'm lucky because my mother was kind of always into the arts, and my father sadly passed away when I was 6, so I didn't really have much kind of direction from him, and actually I didn't really have much direction from my mum other than get on with it. She is a fantastic artist, and I've always been into art. Art is a huge part of my life.
Okay.
And making music is art. It's just the same as being a painter or a sculptor. It's just a
Totally true.
different medium.
Ah.
It's exactly the same, really. It's an extension of my deep innermost feelings and emotions, and that's what it is. So I was very lucky to have a mother who was into art, but she didn't really drive me to do anything. So I've kind of done, done it all on my own.
Yeah.
I've gone solo my whole life. So basically, yeah, it's all up to me. And that's kind of a lucky position to be in some ways, and not in others. But I'm still here. I've managed to do all right. So yeah, it's. I mean, the arts are just like part of me. But my family, the rest of my family, are all quite. They're lovely people, but they don't really do anything like what I do. So yeah, I'm very different. I guess I'm the black sheep of the family.
Well, don't worry, my friend. We're all
musicians are like.
So tell me, how's the scene actually in the UK? You started this in the rave culture. How did this influence your sound?
A lot. I mean, I a lot, because I don't really feel like I wouldn't pigeonhole myself, although I am very much in bed with the progressive house scene. I would not class myself as your kind of average progressive house music producer or DJ, actually, because I do like all styles of music. There's a DJ that I respect who is very well known and does get enough recognition, but I'm going to say it anyway because I think he is absolutely just so inspiring to me, and that's Laurent Garnier. I think Laurent Garnier, for me, is one of the best DJs, if not the best DJ, because he can play jazz to drum and bass with techno in the middle, and like take you on a wild journey, like not just a linear journey, like a totally like all-encompassing journey through. It's like life. It is like life, because life is. It doesn't go straight. It goes up and down, and it goes in wild directions in one direction, goes wildly to the other direction. Life can throw anything at you, and I really respect that with Laurent, because I think that's really interesting. It's never boring. So I think Laurent Garnier is a real inspiration of mine, and I think that I'm not. I don't really class myself as a kind of progressive only guy. I like making techno. I like making breaks. I like making drum and bass. I like making all sorts. I'm doing an album at the moment with someone and we're making like sort of Aphex Twin style stuff, really. I mean, it's really not Aphex Twin's new stuff, kind of like his old stuff.
Old stuff, yeah. Okay,
the good stuff. The new stuff, I can't even go near. It's just
it's not quite there. I agree with that.
It's wild, but and then I'm doing another album with someone else where it's like a bit more like old tech trance type stuff, and then I'm also doing a regular kind of prog, like true prog album at the moment. So I'm actually working on 3 albums separately at the moment with various people.
So do you have aliases for this project, or do you produce everything on there?
I don't see the point. You see, Stelios Vassiliadis, who's a good friend of mine. I had this. I got asked to do this remix for someone, and basically I did this. I ended up doing this like massive aim and breaks style, but kind of slow, not fast, but aim and breaks type track with a really nice kind of legato, quite proggy but legato bass line under it, kind of old school but with a real modern edge to it. And it came out on quite a small label, and I was like, I played it to him, and he was like, "That's really cool." And I was like, "I think I need to do like an alias, because this is kind of a whole new thing I could do." And he was like, "Well, I've done loads of aliases, and it just kind of dilutes what you're doing, because you just got to start again." And it kind of made me think, well, actually, he's right, because in this day and age, really all that matters, which sadly is social media, and if you're having to create another profile and another, I mean, who's got time for that? I mean, I've barely got time for my own social media profile, let alone doing like another 4 or 5 different aliases. So I really took on board what Stelios told me there, and I thought, no, I think I'll just stick to my name, and it's a weird name. It's kind of different.
Quite memorable, yes.
I'll just stick as me. I mean, I may do something in the future, who knows? But I think, really, when you're really trying to push forward, and the goal really is always to get more gigs, and I think, to get more gigs, you need profile, and to get profile, you need to be releasing stuff, and it's just it's part of that cycle of that never-ending cycle that you need to kind of be pushing, really. So I've always kind of stuck to my name, stuck to my guns, and that's kind of what I will probably always do. But who knows? I might.
I've got this necessary question.
Please.
Which was your first track and label? How did you manage to get signed on it?
So recently, I've had stuff out years ago, which was on vinyl, and it was always white labels, bootlegs, kind of like just stuff that's been lost essentially in the digital age. But my first signing. So I only got back into production really, during COVID, really, because after I worked in the film industry for a bit, I worked actually in the games industry again for another sort of 8 to 10 years, and I just got kind of sick of it. Really, I was doing a bit of travel around the world, and I didn't like being in the games industry. I always used to be a gamer, but I just kind of didn't like where it was going with. I worked in virtual worlds. I put on a virtual reality rave in a platform called Second Life in about 2007, something like that, with Phil Hartnell from Orbital, which is like pretty incredible because like no one had ever done that before, and it was just way ahead of like time. Really, I was just way ahead of the curve doing this stuff. If I had like done this during COVID, I'd have been like set. We would have been doing, but this was like years ago, so like 15 years too early, basically. Story of my life. Basically, after that, I just kind of thought I need to drop out a bit, and I came back to Wales and set up a outdoor adventure business actually, and I've got a bit of land here in Wales, and we basically do we still do sort of, we've got a kind of holiday business where we have property and sell holidays. So I did that for quite a few years. and then COVID hit, and my business was just screwed. So I was like, what am I going to do? I'm bored. What am I going to do? I feel like I need to do some art. So I started writing music again. And I did about 5 or 6 pieces of music, and I sent them to John Digweed. And thankfully, he wasn't touring at the time, because he probably wouldn't have listened to them if he was. But he was at home, and all he was doing was listening to music. So literally, he signed my first 5 pieces of music. Yeah, I kind of got back into it and signed my first new pieces of music since getting back into it. So yeah, it was COVID was horrendous for everyone, but it was actually quite good for me, because I did something different. It forced me to change my hand, forced me to get back into music, which for me has always, and certainly in more recent years, has been much more for myself and about. I use making music to help my own mental health, to be honest with you. I mean, it's like it's a way of expressing how I'm feeling and getting emotions down. And I wish I could write, like, words. I'm terrible at writing, but music. This is what I like doing. So this is my way of doing that. So yeah, I got back into it during COVID, and thankfully John Digweed, and I can't thank him enough. Signed my first 5 pieces, and I thought, well, I better carry on doing this. There's something going here. So I carried on, and then Sasha started signing pieces of music. Nick Warren signed music off me. Catania signed music off me. I mean, Dave Seaman signed music off me. I think I've ticked all the boxes. It's like,
and since then, how many pieces have you done?
Have you written?
Good question, actually. It's a
Very
really
fast.
good question. I actually don't know, because I've got a lot of music on my hard drive.
Okay.
I've got a lot.
Well, it's more or less.
Oh, maybe 100 pieces of music.
Oh my goodness!
That's
a lot of track ideas.
That's a lot of track IDs, man. We can do like 5 episodes with you.
We could, yeah. I've got lots and lots of music that's unreleased, and lots that I'm going to just keep unreleased. I've actually decided that I'm going to start releasing some myself, because some of it, I can place with people, but some of it's personal to me, and I want complete control of the art. I want complete control of the message. I want to present it in a specific way. So yeah, I'm going to start releasing stuff myself pretty soon.
Bandcamp.
Yeah, so watch that space.
Yeah.
It really works.
Yes.
It really works. The vocal. I think, yeah. That vocals. I think I heard this when Dave Seaman and Angeli Papa were playing here at Mexico.
I'm pretty sure they played it.
Man, yeah, I was pretty sure of it.
This sounds, Sasha-esque beyond Sasha-esque.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about this track, Aubrey?
So people keep telling me. In fact, people keep saying, "Is this a Sasha track?" And I sent it to Sasha, and I said, "Look, people keep saying this is you. It's actually me. I think you'll like it." I went to see John and Sasha at Warung recently, and luckily I had a gig in Brazil the week before, and I just stayed on for another week and actually did a gig afterwards as well. So I managed to nip over to watch their last ever set at Warung, and at maybe 4 o'clock in the morning, Sasha dropped this, and it just went off. It was a really special moment, and this is actually it is a really, really special moment, yeah, it will live with me forever. Actually,
it is. Yeah, and you just now, it's an eternal track. Really, it's amazing.
It's called the Eternal Moment because of that moment. Actually, it used to be called something different, and I changed the name because of that moment with Sasha. So,
and the name is perfect. Yeah. Wow. I mean, for me, this is goosebumps.
Thank you.
Yeah, you've heard it, guys. When is it coming out?
It's coming out March 13th on Sudbeat.
Okay, Sudbeat. So you heard it, guys, here on Track ID. So, Aubrey, now that you're being like we were discussing, you're being played, and like you were saying, you're ticked off all the boxes, John, Sasha, and Big, etc. All the big names. When do you consider your career? You said like, man, I'm getting there now. The music is there. When do you consider, or what is the track that you consider lifted the career, or it's sent your career into the?
So certainly when John signed my first pieces of music, we were in the thick of COVID, so he wasn't really DJing. Okay, so I had a few plays on his radio show. I did a transitions mix myself. I think probably the loop was probably when it kind of started changing for me because John like closed every single set on his seven date Argentinian tour, the first kind of tour back after COVID. The first big tour back after COVID was 7 dates, and he closed 6 dates, not the first night. 6 dates from the second date on to the end. Every time he closed the set was with the loop. So that created people were like, "What the hell is this track?" And it was going off. There was this one. There was one scenario where I saw a video, and it was like, I'd wake up in the morning, I'd be like, "Oh God, John played last night. I bet there's loads of videos." I'd look at my phone, I was like, "Oh God, there's loads," and I'd like. There was one scenario where John was playing Moon Park in Buenos Aires, and
such a big place.
It was like 6 o'clock in the morning. The sun was up, just coming up, but it was like really stormy out to sea. There was like you could see out to sea, and there was like this huge storm brewing. And suddenly my track came on. And then suddenly this really dark cloud out at sea, this huge flash of lightning hit the sea, and there's this rave going on. I was like, what the fuck is going on here? I was like, this is really special. Like, this is actually this track must be really special. And I it kind of, I mean, it was just a lucky moment, really. But for me, it was like, solidified that track was going to be special, and it was special. I wrote that track with my son, my brand new baby boy son, in my arms. I mean, literally, I got him home from the hospital, and it's been a life goal of mine to have a baby boy, and my first child was a boy, and I brought him in home, and my wife was comatose, asleep in bed, and I had him on my lap, and he was asleep, and I sat down and I just wrote the chords, and the main body of the track with him literally in my lap. So it's a very, very special track to me. From my heart, that's a special moment. And actually, since then, it's difficult because I'm always learning. I've never stopped learning, and I feel like the more I work, the more I learn. I think everyone should really face the fact that we're always learning, and I just feel like I'm getting better still. So I don't know if I've made my best work yet.
It is an amazing track.
And
It is a good
when
track,
you were working on the loop, when did you know that the loop was finished?
Well, do you know what? Because so I worked on it. I was like, the original is completely beatless. There's no drums at all.
There is an ambient version of it.
So that is the original.
That's the original one. Yes,
That is the original. So
Okay.
basically, the original I made completely beatless without drums because I had my son in my lap. I was like, it's like this. It's not. I wasn't making a club track. I was making a feeling, a moment in my life. That's the pure art form. Is that original version with no drums? It was just pure music.
It's pure emotion.
Absolutely.
So basically, when I finished that, I was like, I sent it to John. I was like, John, it's completely beatless, but this is fucking amazing. I'm telling you, this is amazing. And he was like, yeah, I want it straight away. He immediately said, I want it. I was like, okay, that's great. So then I knew that he was going on tour. So I was sort of worrying. I was like, but it's got no drums. I was like, how's he going to play it on tour? So I basically set about and created a club version, which is the extravaganza AF mix, which is the one that everyone plays. So I made that, and I knew he was on a flight, and I know he's like Group Zero, right up the front of the plane, enjoying free Wi-Fi. I was like, okay, so John, I've just made this club version. I want you to listen to it, and I'm sure that I knew he was in the air. He was like probably halfway across the Atlantic.
Go for it.
And I was like, look, dude, I know you're going to like this, but you may want to play this on your tour. And he listened to it. He was like, obviously he loved it because he played it last track at every event. So yeah, it was a great moment and a wonderful track. So, but I don't think it's my best work because that's yet to come.
Everything is you have to tell me you make better music, and there's the message yet to come, and so on and so on and so on. That's yet
to come.
Hey, listen, in my opinion, you have a very distinct sound signature. You have the arpeggios going on, you have the punch and the groove going on, but there is this kind of metallic sound. Can you tell us, in your opinion, what makes an Aubrey track an Aubrey Fry track?
Well, I think it has to be. I've got a real love of techno. So, and techno is very raw. It's very kind of like it can be groovy. It can be just banging and like silly, off the scale, just like crazy. But groovy techno is like just amazing. And I think that rawness. Back to a question that you've already asked, actually, is how did those original moments that you had in the rave scene affect you? Well, that's how. I mean, it's that rawness that although I kind of discovered that John Digweed Renaissance 2 CD, which was high production, and that was my new goal. That was my new, that's where I want to go. I think it's important to have a rawness to your productions. are kind of like those happy accidents, those kind of like slight mistakes. Even they're not mistakes; they're just rawness. I don't like stuff to be too perfect. I think if it's like, I mean, you may as well just AI music if it's
It's polished, yes.
if it's too polished, it's just like.
I
So
can feel
that
it.
rawness,
Yeah,
I think
That's
rawness, a slight rawness and edge, some sort of edge to it is what I'm always trying to achieve. Be different. That's the thing. Is just be different. Don't conform to anyone's sound. It's your sound. Be different. Be original. And that's kind of what I try and do. I think is try and be original.
Did you ever get any production tips from Phil Orbital?
From Phil.
Yeah.
Not really.
I have to add, like, sitting next to feel like, how do you produce, make this?
He's like a jester, that guy. He's like, honestly, he's like, not really. No, he's great fun, Phil. But he's not. He's not really like
sharer. Yeah.
And also his brother is the really is the really good producer, I guess.
Okay.
I mean, what Phil's really good at is coming up with killer hooky lines. Those chime lines. That's all Phil, and that's just him. Playing around, but he's got a really good ear for it. So I guess so in a way, yeah. I mean, I'm not doing him much credit here. Yeah, I guess I have. I guess I have in some ways. But yeah, he's. I've never sat down and asked him for any opinions or any kind of tips. I don't think he'd be really the guy to do that. I mean, I know plenty of other producers that are I really, really respect that I can call upon, and yeah. But Phil, no, I've had a lot of fun with Phil.
Yeah.
He's a wild guy.
Trippy?
So trippy. Yeah, what is this?
I said, really?
I know.
Yeah, a little mess of it.
Wow, that twisted groove that I told you before. Wow.
Tell us a little bit about this, Aubrey.
Always.
So Brian Gravel and I, we actually produce events together called Connected With, and we put on parties in Wales and in America as well, and he and I are just old buddies, and very recently have started making tunes together. And so this is something that we came up with together, and actually John Digweed played it recently at Metropolitano
Argentina.
In Argentina.
Yeah, in Argentina. Yeah, so there are videos floating around of that as well. But you can see the crowd in Argentina just went completely crazy for it. It's a really stripped back, minimal track. But it's just got a really, really nice vibe, and as you say, that really twisted groove.
Super loopy.
It's very trippy track.
Is this gonna be out soon?
This is coming out on Strip Recordings with our friend Norman H.
Oh, Senor Norman.
Mr. Norman.
It's a video that looks kind of reddish, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yes. We've heard it, yes, yeah. Norm told us about this, but he didn't share which track was it. So it's this one, yes. Senor Norm.
What a secret weapon.
Which secret? It's super great track, Aubrey.
I like to sling some real winners to Norman because I've got a lot of respect for that man.
The man
that guy is I have to say, he is a gentleman and just he's really good at what he does. He's
Yeah.
got a great label. So, yeah, full marks to Stripped, and they deserve good music. So, yeah, it's going to him.
You heard it, guys, first on Track IDs. There is raw sounds, quite cinematic sounds.
Yes.
Twisted grooves on your productions.
Yeah.
So tell us, what are your favorite producer weapons, scenes,
Okay, yes.
plugins? You know, let's get into the meat and potatoes. You already said right now. I need to know this nerdy stuff because I really love it.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
not your
fine.
team.
So I'm really into trying to push mixing to a kind of slightly out there direction. You know, I like to kind of like really try and take the mix to a kind of a slightly different place. Sometimes I go too far and I wind stuff back, but yeah, I think, you know, on the actual kind of writing side, what am I using a lot of at the moment? There's a really wild plugin that I've found, which is called Morph, and it's basically what you can do is you can sidechain the plugin. So you put the plugin on a audio source or MIDI instrument, and then you can sidechain that plugin to any other audio source or instrument. And then you can basically use that to morph the two sounds together. And what that allows you to do is to take, for example, if you morphed a drum sound with like a lead sound, you can get some really nice sound design. So there's some really like interesting ways of creating new sound design for tracks, and there's loads of parameters within the plugin itself that, you know, allow you to create interesting pieces of sound design. So that's a great plugin. But I've also started getting back into Outboard actually, and like using some modular stuff, and just getting that rawness back, and actually then bringing. I'm really into mixing raw modular stuff, but with quite clean plug-in synths as well, you know, and then doing a really nice mix of it as well. So because I think that creates a really nice light and shade. That's what life is again, you know. It's all about light and shade. It's like you have good times, you have bad times, you have night and day. You know, it's in life. I'm not happy unless there is a bit of light and shade in my music. So I can, yeah, I mean, I can create a happy track, but there's going to be something weird and dark in it as well. Because I think that it always needs that, you know, it needs that kind of light and shade to it. So yeah, that Morph plugin's great, and actually using a bit of Outboard as well, modular synthesizers, and
in all of this, you bring it into which DAW you like to use?
I use Logic. I mean, I've got all DAWs. I've got all of them. I can use all of them.
Yeah,
I do use all of them for various things.
But you feel comfortable with Logic?
I like Logic. Yeah, I just prefer it. I started with Cubase on an Atari ST. You know, just MIDI, and then I moved on to Cubase on a PC, and then I had Cubase on a Mac as well. But then eMagic came out with. I mean, the original of Logic was Notator, which I've also used, but then eMagic came out and brought Logic out, you know, so, and then Logic carried on with Apple. And I'm a bit of a Apple slut, you know, I just, you know, everything's like, I'm dripping with Apple. This is amazing. I like finer things in life, and that includes my computers. yeah, trying to bring some kind of rawness from outboard is a really nice thing to do. And actually, I've got really kind of nerdy with this. I've been using a Commodore 64 a bit.
Come on, what you doing?
With a SID chip, yeah. And actually, I've got a friend who's got one with 4 SID chips in it, because a SID chip only gives you 3 notes, yeah.
Yeah.
So it only literally plays 3 notes. So but with 4, you can actually play a lot more. You could do a lot more with it. So yeah, getting that kind of 8-bit kind of really raw kind of old computer sound, you can make some amazing stuff with it. And actually mixing like an 8-bit raw Commodore 64 ARP sound with in fact, on my Instagram somewhere I did a video of me messing about with this. I'll send it to you. But if you look back on my Instagram, you'll find it. There's this ARP sound. It's like the most filthy, raw, dirty bassline ARP that's like you've ever heard, and it's 8-bit, and then using that underneath, but with really clean, nice, modern synthesizers over the top. It's like, and like really nice drums, and then mixed really well. It just like it's
definitely
wild.
we're gonna talk about this later with because I have one Commodore 64. You still have it?
Man.
I still have it.
Yeah.
Okay, I just brand new.
I had brand new.
Get a SID chip.
Brand new.
I had one in 1980.
No. I still have mine.
Why? I think it was
Get it
1986.
out, man. Honestly, you can mod them, put MIDI in them, put a SID chip, and you can make some incredible noises with that. Yeah, I'll send you some examples.
Yeah, please.
So,
Right.
Yeah.
You have some really cool collaborations. We had some guests there that we have some guests showcasing them here in Track ID. How is it to work alongside with like Anthony Papa and all those big names?
Oh, and Anthony is like, he's like one of the nicest guys, and he's also,
I can say
in my opinion, just like right up there as a DJ. He is like,
he's a tech wizard.
So entertaining to watch. He's unbelievable. I did a show with him recently at D-Edge in Sao Paulo, and I was playing after him, and I was like, fucking how am I going to follow this? Jesus Christ. This guy's so fucking off the scale good. And I played, I did fine. I was okay, but it was just like, he's so entertaining. Yeah, I'm actually playing with him again in Manchester this year, and but I'm before him, which is good.
Less pressure.
Yeah.
Well, I would have rather like gone back to back with him than play after him. It's like just like, wow, this guy's. Yeah, I mean, I've watched him so many times, but on that night he was on particularly good form. So, yeah, no, it's Anthony's such a nice guy and really talented, and he's a really good drummer. So like working with like someone who knows about rhythm and also arrangement. His arrangement is just he's fantastic. He's a real joy to work with, and he enjoys working with me because I'm quite quick. So I think we're both quite kind of like quick people in our heads. We know what we want. We want to get it done, and I get it done. So it's like we work really, really well together. So yeah, I've done a couple of tracks with Anthony. Actually, the first one will be coming out at some point on Music to Die For, and the second one will be coming out with Balance soon. And they are both really, really great tracks. They're both quite different. The first one I sent to you actually is is just it's a real nod to my tech trance days. Actually, I don't know. Do you remember an album by Carl Cox, a DJ mix album called Fact?
Ages ago, right?
Like 1990.
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that. It was again an album that was just seminal. Just blew my mind. So that was a kind of pre-prog as a genre. That was what people were listening to, was tech trance, and it wasn't trance as in kind of cheese trance. It was like serious and with that techno edge, very groovy, rolling, kind of progressive, really. And so it was a real nod to that kind of era, and I loved making it with him. And yeah, I've heard him play it out a couple of times. I actually witnessed him play it out a couple of times, and I've not actually played it out yet because I just haven't had the opportunity. It's not been the right kind of party or scenario, and it blows people's minds. It's like one of those, like, I mean, I feel a bit big-headed saying this, but it's one of those like track of the night tracks. It's one of those
track any of the night. Yeah,
it's a track of the night track. Where people really will remember it, and it's kind of relentless, but it's also got that moment where you're like, wow, oh, and then it's back, and it's like, it's an incredible piece of music. So yeah. That was great to make, and then the second one is possibly better. It's very different, but I think Anthony shared that with you last time. Actually,
a bit of it, and it sounded really great.
That went down really well in D-Edge. Actually, that was like a big track. That went down. Brazil loved that tune.
Okay, you go first, because she's gonna kill me if I say it. But then,
Okay. No, it's because
am I right?
as you know, I love their pages, and I use it a lot. My production of the treatments is amazing. Treatment, hypnotizing. This is
do you know what it reminds me of? It totally reminds me of the Chemical Brothers.
Okay.
It's got a real Chemical Brothers vibe, this track. It's just like it's just got that kind of weird, slightly. Well, it's quite. It's sort of analogy kind of. Yeah.
This is. It feels effed up, man. Really, really nice.
Jesus.
So the track. It's just heads in the air.
This is a lovely track.
Thanks, mate.
GU, is it coming out?
So GU is going to come out on a white label that you're going to get in
Whoa!
It's a great. I mean,
No.
White label. That means you'll have to go to Balance to get this track.
You've got to find me and try and get a copy of me.
Okay. So this is a super exclusive. So the only way to hear it is listen to Track ID or hunt this guy down in Balance. Early August.
Get a copy on vinyl.
That's right. You're very cute.
When you get a copy on vinyl, you'll be able to get a digital copy as well. But we're basically going to just give this away on vinyl, but you'll only be able to get the digital copy by having a vinyl copy.
Wow! Can I say my work? Wicked!
You wicked heard it first. Here, yeah, you on Track ID.
About your influences, you're fast becoming a staple on all the big guys DJ sets. Which artists or DJs makes you strive to be an even better than a DJ or producer?
Yeah.
Well, I'd say, I mean, pretty much everyone I work for and with. I think John Digweed is
Yeah, absolutely.
the most solid DJ I've ever seen in my life. He's just unbelievable. And Sasha has the kind of wild card bit that I like doing.
Mhm.
And he's also Welsh, so maybe it's a Welsh thing. So Sasha, John Digweed, Laurent Garnier, are definitely my favourites. Those three guys, just sort of, just from the start, have always and are still pushing the envelope. You know, they're just like always. They're never. They've not stopped being amazing, in my opinion. But new people. I mean, it's really difficult. I'm ashamed to say that I don't listen to a huge amount of promos. I don't listen to a huge amount of new music because I'm always writing music. Because, like, if I sat down and listened to promos all day, I wouldn't get any music made. So I don't listen to a huge amount of other people's music, which is kind of weird. But yeah, I think. I mean, it put me on the spot. I mean, Guy J's recent productions, in my opinion,
well, yes.
I mean, he's taken a genre and he's run with it. And basically, because Guy's live set used to be more of a live set. You know, he was kind of with a computer and MIDI controllers, and he's a producer before he was a DJ.
Yeah.
You know, that's how he started. So since he's become kind of, he's aligned himself with using CDJs and he's absolutely nailed it. And he's got this kind of like relentless. It is very linear. It's like one long, relentless groove. It does not stop. I mean, I think I've heard him like have a breakdown in his track maybe twice in the last few years, where it's like a proper like breakdown. The rest of the time, it just does not stop. He's got a loop going all the time, constantly, and I think that's amazing because it creates this sort of like relentless groove that just. So I think Guy J is, and his productions have just got better and better and better. He's amazing. I'm a real fan of him. And yeah, I mean, it's hard to say. I mean, the young guys coming through now, they're doing really well. And I really respect them as well. You know, there's some. I'd say that the only other guy that I'd really, really respect that is like quite young and new, like really, really, truly respect for quality of production is Jody Barr. Jody Barr is like, for me, just stylistically, he is like on point. He is the most
Great production.
talented, not only producer but DJ. If you watch him live, he is unbelievable.
Never seen
He
him.
No,
came from
before, no.
you should talk to him. He comes from an interesting background. So he used to be a commercial DJ. So he used to be on a commercial circuit. He'd be, going around from, one club to another club, playing like Beyonce and like, the Sugar Babes or whatever, but learning how to be able to DJ commercial music and make it sound really good. If you can like play like commercial music really well, mix it really well, when you become an electronic music DJ, you're unbelievable.
You're on fire.
Because
Yeah.
you can do anything. He's just like, he is really, really talented DJ. But then his productions, like Eleanor, like that track he put out on Anjuna, Eleanor, is just, for me, like, it sums up the last 10 years. It's like, it hits me right there. It's beautiful.
Going back a little bit, you were talking about Guy J and how he was a producer, and I remember one of the last times I hope ages ago he was playing with Abel.
Yeah.
Have you ever considered, because a name comes to mind, Henry Size?
Yeah.
Have you ever considered doing a hybrid DJ set with synths?
Yes, actually, and I'm doing
Good one.
I'm doing a bit of an experiment with that at the moment. So
I think it would be great.
Yeah, definitely, and it's something that I'm definitely considering on a few levels actually. So I've actually found this new MIDI clock device which I can sync up to a CDJ, but also it can then clock other external synthesizers, sequencers, and it all be like bang on time.
Is it the Gardena Pro?
It's called Symantonic.
I haven't seen this one.
It's this, Symantonic. I'll send you a link afterwards. Yeah, Symantonic are just like, it's a young, I think he's Norwegian, like 20 something kid. He's created this incredible device. And it's like, and there's like CV points on it as well, so you can plug like really old equipment. Yeah. So it's not just MIDI. So yeah, it's I am definitely experimenting with that, and something that I'm probably going to be doing in the future.
Looking forward to hearing that.
You're looking for the future. How do you see yourself contributing to the progressive music scene?
Well, I'm not going to stop. Firstly, so I'm not going to stop. I think if I had found the last 5 years tiring, difficult, upsetting, if it had affected my life in a negative way whatsoever, I might consider stopping, but it hasn't. I've managed to bring up to now a 4-year-old son. I've managed to hold down a wife. I've managed to hold down a life, and also travel a fair bit, and also produce tons of music. And it's just been a joy to do all of it, So I'm not going to stop. It's I think I said earlier, the main reason I make music is for my own mental health. I mean, as most people have, I've got a fair amount of trauma in my life, or had a fair amount of trauma in my life, as most people have. But the only if I didn't write music, I'd probably be an alcoholic or a drug addict, I should think. So I think it's the thing that keeps me on the straight and narrow. It's the thing that keeps me sane, and I can't possibly stop now, because it's what keeps me going. It is a big part of my life now. So I'm afraid I'm here for a while.
You're here to stay good, yeah.
I'm here to stay.
You're doing pretty well.
So, going a little bit backwards, it just, I mean, we kind of touched point on this, but because I'm a super fan of them. So, any cool stories with Orbital? I mean, because,
God.
yeah, because I mean, I have all their music, and
God.
talking with somebody close to them. I mean, it would be. I mean, we have a great. I mean, it has to be a party or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, so I remember I was round at Phil's house in Brighton one morning, and we'd been up all night doing God knows what, and we were pretty drunk, and to say the least, and all night we'd been like just playing music and just chatting and putting the world to rights, and all night there had been this huge party going on in right next door in his neighbour's house. And I was like, Phil, what the fuck are we doing? We've been like chatting all night, and there's like a party going on next. Your neighbour is having a party. What's going on? And like so basically, I was like, he's like, yeah, but it's getting late. I was like, come on, old man, we're going next door. so I dragged him next door, and we basically, it introduced me to one of my best friends. Unfortunately, he passed away a couple of years ago, but for many years he was one of my best friends. His neighbor became one of my best friends, this friend, his neighbor was a guy called Mungo, and Mungo was much more of a character than I've ever met in anybody. I mean, he was an ordained vicar, but only because he wanted to marry someone at Burning Man, and like he was a pilot. He was just this crazy. He had this driver that used to drive him round Brighton in an S-Class Mercedes, and like always had these extraordinary women with him. And like I was just like, this guy's just crazy. So anyway, I made friends with him, but Phil and I had this, basically carried his party on for another 2 days, and I ended up doing a back-to-back DJ set with Phil Hartnell at this party. It was about half a day we played for. It was just a non-stop party, and that's what Brighton was. I mean, that's kind of why I had to leave in the end. It was just like, like that all the time.
Funny, yeah.
It was just all the time.
That was great.
And I believe Phil's still going.
Yes. Oh,
yeah.
How do you feel about to be releasing tracks on some of the best labels in the world, like Petrol last night, and I heard Celador and all?
Yeah, it's amazing, and actually, each one's been a very different experience. It's quite interesting seeing how these different labels work, and how each of the DJs that own the label operates, and they all do a great job. I can't complain with any of them. They're all fantastic, but very, very different in their approach. I mean, Dave Seaman's label's been fantastic. I mean, we released a track. I had a track with. It was actually just a remix. I've only released one track, a remix with Nick Stoynoff that he and I did for Danny Howells, and I mean, it's been number one on their chart, on the label chart ever since. It's still number one. And actually, that track got released on vinyl eventually, which was like, for me, really important. That's a really important milestone for me. If something comes out on vinyl, that's like, it's back to the old school. You know, it's a nod back to where it all began for me. You know, it's important to me. So it was nice that came out on vinyl, and actually that's now been licensed to Global Underground. So they've just re-released it on vinyl again for a compilation. So that's kind of cool, because it's like working with Dave, and you know, and it's gone on, and then I'm working with Global Underground as well, and it's like, you know, that's kind of really cool approach. So that's cool. And then you know, John's approach is just, he's so kind of like correct and proper about how he does business. You know, it's faultless. Releasing with Bedrock is just a faultless experience. You know, the art is perfect. It's interesting. It changes. It evolves. It's never the same. It's like, it's you know, it's just a wonderful thing, and you get a great response. He's got a great following. He gives you great support. Scott, who works for him, is an incredible label manager. You know, so it's just a great experience. And you know, they all have their own ways of doing stuff, slightly different. And I can't fault any of them. They're, you know, working with Sasha again, amazing. You know, and you know, the support he's given my music has just been unbelievable. You know, he's still. I mean, he did a 6-hour mix at Stereo recently, and I had a 6-hour journey that I had to make in a car, and I was like, I know, I'll put that mix on.
Yeah,
so I put the mix on, and I was driving along, and I was like, hold on, I know that. I was like, is that one of my tracks? Yes, it's one of my tracks. And it's like quite kind of an old track of mine, and it's like, you know, he's still playing my tracks, so it's great. You know, it's really nice. They're good people.
Yeah, great people. So
they're all good people. That's the overarching thing with progressive house is actually the family. You know, the wider family. You know, Tom at Balance. You know, great person. You know, I have so much respect for that guy. You know, he's really, really pushing the scene, and always has really pushed the scene. You know, from releasing these amazing compilations, like the James Holden mix on Balance is. Someone put an article out recently about that. I think it was like Resident Advisor or someone like that put an article out.
It was,
and I was like, I've been saying that for fucking years. It's like, it is like just amazing. That album is absolutely amazing.
I hate it.
And you know, Tom's still doing that, and has now got this amazing festival. You know, and you know, by all accounts, I didn't go last year, unfortunately. I was, you know, FOMO at home, like just like. I like, you know, I nearly did what Steve Parry did and flew out for the last few days. I was like, you know, it's just, Steve Parry basically couldn't handle it. He was like, I'm going, and it's like got a flight.
Yeah, he's not supposed to say that.
Yeah, it's like couldn't do it, couldn't not be there. And I was so close, you know. But thankfully, I'm playing there this year, so I'm really, really looking forward to that. That's something I'm like, you know, more excited about than anything at the moment.
We'll see you there. Yeah, I'll see you there.
And great.
Take me to a floating lamp.
Yeah, that cinematic vibe, absolutely.
It's like more earlier, like a little earlier in the set, but still you want to take people up. Yeah, when
he changed the key.
Wow. So tell us a bit about this one.
So this is a collaboration between a very, very good friend of mine, Tim French. Tim French and I have been working for the last year a little bit, and we started by, well, he contacted me when I was on tour in Argentina, and I was kind of on my way to the airport. He was like, Aubrey, we've got to do some music. I was like, actually, we really do, because I really love your stuff. And when I got back from Argentina, we started working, and we came out with a track which got signed to Sudbeats straight away, and Hernan's been playing all of our tracks. It's a very Hernan track, this, actually. But so our sound together is very much like this. This is kind of how it always sort of seems to turn out. And it's very kind of Hernan prog, actually. There's a cheeky vocal at the end, and I think I'd really like you to try and tell me who you think it is.
Oh, listen. Okay. Okay. This one. Okay, so for a reason. It's giving into life. Giving into love. It's the Stansfield, yeah.
Yes!
Stansfield, really good. Giving into love. Giving into love.
We dropped it. Very well done, mate. We dropped it 4 octaves. That's, much respect, mate. We dropped it 4 octaves and totally like fucked it up.
4 octaves down.
Yes.
So this is it coming out, this one?
No, not yet.
Not yet. Listen here on
Another big Track ID.
30 weekend. 30 Track ID, people.
Seriously, yeah.
Here on Track ID. Okay?
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, now it's time. Welcome to our loved and most respected
A respected section.
Yeah, respect section is you are traveling to a desert island and you only can bring with you 5 records. Which one is going to be?
What, of my own or other people's?
Desert Island.
Desert Island.
Desert Island. Okay. Well, definitely Window Liquor by Aphex Twin.
Yeah.
Because, if you're on a desert island, you're going to be going absolutely crazy. And it's like there's nothing more like insane than that track. But also manages to keep it within the realms of like acceptable.
Yeah.
Definitely Window Liquor. You should check out my re-edit of that, actually.
I think I downloaded it, if I'm correct.
Okay, good. Yeah, that's done all right. So also, I think Polygon Window.
Okay.
Because it was, again, a really just sort of interesting art form piece. It was it was so early, and yet didn't pigeonhole itself. It was just like a pure art form piece, and I think definitely Little Fluffy Clouds by the Orb
are amazing,
because
that whole record is.
Because I think that whole album actually is wonderful. But again, on a desert island, you'd just be going crazy, and you'd need a bit of sort of something tranquil and nice. And so, and then probably the K&D Sessions by Kruder and Dorfmeister.
Have you heard the new the 25th anniversary with the extra tracks?
I've got it. Amazing.
It's so good.
Yeah. And then there's one more.
The 25th anniversary.
It's in my place.
There's one more, isn't there? There's one more. Chime by Orbital.
So that leads me,
Chris, let's
that leads me to guess that you are a green person, not a brown person.
I'm a green person.
Yeah, I'm a brown person. I like the green
Yeah.
one, but
I do like the Brown album, but it's I find it quite disjointed. It's not like it's just like a load of tracks chucked together. It's a bit of a bowl of noodles. It's like it goes all over the place a bit. There's not much of a kind of story to it, but Halcyon is just like,
come on, we get with the whole show with just Halcyon.
Yeah.
yeah.
So he managed to do
wonderful.
5. Yeah, he managed to do 5. Most people just only get to 3 or at the most.
No, there's so much. I probably missed out. Yeah. Probably do 10. But
So
anyway,
He's passing the
Yeah, happy Sunday.
okay, good.
Well, in single hosts, a few guests have reached the check mark. Yeah. Got
But
it.
tell us what advice you can share with our viewers, both DJs and producers. What kind of advice?
Well, for so basically, production wise, okay,
Okay.
spend every single minute of your spare time doing it. Do not stop. If you spend every single second that you can trying to make music, you will get good. You will learn stuff. You'll enjoy it, and if you don't enjoy it, don't do it. But if you want to do it and you are enjoying it, spend every single spare moment that you have. I still, I'll put my son to bed. My wife may also go to bed, and I'll go to the studio and I'll literally just make music for hours and hours and hours, and sometimes not go to bed and go and do some work the next morning. And I still spend every single spare moment of my life writing music.
And what about the young people, the guys that really young people that trying to start a career?
So don't get sucked into AI.
Oh yes, please. Thanks.
Don't get sucked into AI. Don't just pay someone to do it. Have a go. Have a go. I do a lot of client work, and I love helping people to try and sort of visualize a dream that they're having about music. I like working with people that have got an idea and want to kind of develop it, and helping them get there. I don't ask to put my name to anything. I just like to see people doing well and getting to a place that they're happy with it. And it's a really fulfilling thing to help people get move on with production. And it's just something I like doing. And I wish I had more time to do it. Actually, I don't have that much time to do it. So I get a lot of requests from people to help them with stuff. But I just don't have time to help everyone, but it's a really fulfilling thing. So my advice is, I mean, there's loads of resources out there. I mean, YouTube is fantastic for learning. I mean, it's got tons of tutorials and resources for learning, and bounce ideas off people. I'm very often listening to people's music and giving them advice, but bounce it off your friends as well. Bounce it off your mum. Bounce it off. I bounce stuff off my son. He's 4, and like actually a track that I played to you recently and that you told me that you liked. He that's his favorite track. He's like that's Daddy, can you put that song on again? And he just gets me to play it. So he just wants it all the time. So that's a good sign, and actually, it is, getting a nice vibe from young people it's really good. It's really good to hear.
With this in mind, you were saying to try to help people and everything. Do you see yourself taking a role in the music scene, an active role in the music scene?
Yes, I do. Yeah, I'm actually. I said to you earlier, I've got a sort of business here in Wales where we've got a holiday business. I've got property and studio and facilities, So yeah, I'm actually going to probably start running some, not courses, but retreats, musical retreats, writers' retreats.
And sign it up.
Where basically people come and stay with me, and we've got very, very, very comfortable accommodation, and I'm a lover of food as well, so we look after people, cook for them, and I've got a yoga studio, so we can do the whole wellness thing, and make sure they're comfortable, and so yeah, I do a lot of that stuff, and I think that's definitely on the cards in the next couple of years. I'll be doing more of those types of events. Small groups of people, maybe 6 to 8 people, and kind of have a focus on wellness and making music.
Exactly. And what do you want your legacy to be? How do you want to be remembered?
I think writing music inherently gives you a legacy because it's always going to be there, unless the servers go down. Let's hope that doesn't happen. But I think having music out there for people to stream, download, buy on vinyl, it's or collect, it's really important. The only thing I do worry about is it getting lost in a digital collapse. It is very possible for the servers to go down, and if which is why I'm actually very excited about vinyl, and actually I'm going to start pressing more vinyl. That's another thing I'm going to start doing because, I mean, we threw a gold disc into space, guys. We need to do more of that. It's I've always respected that gold disc that got shot off into space with sound effects, and I just thought that was beautiful. And it's the same thing with vinyl. It's a really sort of tactile thing that you can hold and feel and play, and so I think probably putting out more vinyl is a good legacy.
We all love Michael.
Yeah, we all.
Yeah.
Aubrey, can you please share your socials for people who don't follow you? And if they're not, they should, because he also throws freebies every once in a while, and he does great edits that you should download.
I've
gotten a lot of yours, so trust me, they're really good.
Yeah, so yeah, just if you want to follow me, it's at Aubrey Fry Music, AubreyFry Music, and that's the same across all social media platforms. Yeah, thanks, guys.
No, thank you. So, yeah, really, we want to thank you from the bottom of our hearts. It was a really enlightening chat with you. Really, getting to know your music process, your stories, or you fell again.
Oh, there's so many of those. We'll talk more at balance.
Yeah,
we'll talk more at balance.
We definitely have some beers and whatever.
Tell you what, we'll sit down and balance, and I'll have at least 2 hours of orbital stories.
No, thank you. It was super interesting. I mean, also on our nerd side, which you love listening. I mean, we will go in depth for the post production, but the time there's restrictions. Yeah. But anyways, we thank you.
I'll look out for those courses. We'll be running some those retreats soon, so you can come and talk to me there as well.
Yeah.
No, I just want to say thank you because all your attitude, all your tips, your knowledge, and you're so kind person. So thank you.
Okay. Well, I mean, just the last piece of advice I have, and this is from the heart as well, is to anybody. The most important thing is don't be a can't.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's it.
Peace.
Yes, yeah.
Cherry on top. Yes, absolutely.
Thank you, mate. Really. Thanks
Love
so
you,
much.
mate.
I
Take it easy.
really appreciate this.
Entonces,
Yeah,
recuerden,
good.
amigos, si les gusta conocer la historia real detrás de toda la música electrónica, suscríbanse a Track ID, @TrackID México.
No se pierdan el próximo episodio. Muchísimas gracias a todos por vernos, por seguirnos, por darle a la campanita en YouTube. A los que no les da tiempo estar en YouTube, escucharnos por Spotify, iHeartRadio, todas las plataformas. Muchísimas gracias a todos por acompañarnos y por todo este soporte.
Gracias a todos y nos vemos próximamente en Track ID México.